You may be wondering what happened to those quarterly or bi-monthly graphic novel wrap-ups that I used to do. I just haven't done one in a really long time. The way that I film and edit these actually takes a lot of time, and so I have not had time to do so. But I am here today, and I am changing the format a little bit since it's been quite a while since I've done one of these. So what I'm going to do right now is this. I'm going to split this into two parts. The first part is just going to be graphic novels that are comic series and that I have recently read the first volumes of. So I'm not going to go into subsequent volumes, and I'm going to carry on with this for future graphic novel wrap-ups and reviews because I can't really say much about the plot of anything past the first volume without spoiling the first volume of most series. So I feel like it's kind of redundant, and generally the art style stays the same as long as the artists on the piece haven't changed. So I'm just going to talk about new to me comics series. Then the second part of this will be standalone graphic novels and graphic memoirs. So without further ado, today we are going to talk about the series that I have started from February through July. I have no idea what order I read these in, so I'm sorry. Some of them I've talked about a little bit already, obviously in wrap-ups, but for more detail, here we go. The first thing I want to talk about is the first volume of Giant Days. This was created and written by John Allison, illustrated by Litsy Tremaine. It has colors by Whitney Kogar, the letters are by Jim Campbell, and the cover art of this edition is by Litsy Tremaine. There are a couple of other people involved in this, but those are kind of the heavy hitters. And this is the story of three girls who are starting their first year of university in the UK, and they are all a little bit different and have very different personalities, but they become fast friends. I was very hesitant going into this as it is a kind of categorized as a young adult graphic novel, and I don't read very much young adult at all, and did not think I would like this, but I had heard so many rave reviews of it that I finally decided to give it a shot, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a very realistic depiction of kind of that first year of college and what you're going through as a teenager. It doesn't shy away or like make the experience look prettier or covered in glitter like some stories I've read. There's definitely a big feminist slant to the story, which I loved, and the girls in the story are just so well developed, so realistic, so unashamedly themselves that I ended up adoring the series. I have since read the second volume and am hoping to have the third volume soon. So I do highly recommend this. The art is really colorful and fun. I really like the way the characters are drawn, and their facial expressions in particular are amazing. The paneling is pretty straightforward, so nothing much to say about that. But overall, I highly recommend this. The next series I've started over the past 6 months is Descender. This is written by Jeff Lemire and illustrated by Dustin Nguyen. The letters and the design are by Steve Wands, and this is a really beautiful graphic novel. You may have seen it around. It was nominated for the BookTube SFF Awards, and it is the story of a robot named Tim21 who is on this planet seemingly all by himself, and then, I don't want to spoil it, but he goes on a great adventure. He lives in a world where humans are kind of systematically destroying AIs, and he gets really wrapped up in that. I enjoyed this story. It was very much a first volume where we weren't given that much. There were a lot of like flashbacks and kind of setting the scene, which is fine, and I expect that in the first few issues of a comic series. The art, though, is what really did it for me, and the art is absolutely phenomenal. Dustin Nguyen is so talented. I don't know how much, if any of this, you all have seen, but I was really wrapped up in the art in this. I have since read the second volume. I did find it to be just as good, if not better, than the first, and I'm looking forward to carrying on with this series. The next book I have was a very much anticipated release for me. That is the first volume of Paper Girls. The reason why this is so anticipated and why everyone's talking about it is that it was written by Brian K. Vaughan. The artist is Cliff Chang. Matt Wilson does the colors and Jared K. Fletcher does the lettering. This is not at all what I expected. It is the story of 4 girls in 1988 who have paper routes, and on the morning after Halloween, they get wrapped up in some really fucked up shit. Spoiler alert, it's way cooler than you think it's going to be. So, highly recommend this. It does have a bit of a sci-fi bent to it, if you are into that. I love Cliff Chang's art. Not only did I feel like it went really well with the story that he's telling, but just for the time that this is supposed to be taking place. Like, I found the art to be very 80s, and the story takes place in the 80s. He did a really great job depicting the characters, and I'm in love with all of the badass lady types in this book, so I have nothing but good things to say about it. I just noticed that kind of without realizing it, I'm kind of doing these in order from least favorite to favorite. So next we have I Hate Fairyland by Skottie Young. This is, I'm sorry, I can't talk about it without laughing. This is written and drawn by Skottie Young. The coloring is by Jean-François Beaulieu, and the lettering and design is by Nate Piekos. And this is the story of a young girl who gets whisked away to fairyland. Unfortunately, at age 40, she is still stuck there because she has not completed the quest that will allow her to get the key that she needs to go home. So this takes the traditional girl and or young boy gets whisked away to a fantastical world, completes an adventure, and is dropped off back at home. No time has seemingly passed at all in the real world, etc. It takes that and it really twists it on its head. It makes it very subversive. It's really dark. It's really violent. It's very much for grown-ups. There's a lot of graphic language. Like I said, there's a lot of violence. And I just did not realize how much I was going to love this. I laughed the entire way through it. And it was hilarious. It was so funny. The art's amazing. It's so colorful, which is just perfect for the story. All of the characters are really vivid. You get all types of fantastical characters in this, and oh man, this is rip-roaring fun. This is definitely something to read when you are feeling down and need to pick me up. The last thing I read is something that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, so I want to spend a little bit of time with it, and this is Cursed Pirate Girl by Jeremy A. Bastian. I had the privilege of meeting Jeremy A. Bastian at North Carolina Comic-Con last year, and he immediately picked this up because he was drawing at his booth, and his art, y'all, what? I don't know how much of the detail in this art is going to pick up on my shoddy little camera, but you can also look at his website to kind of get an idea of what he does. But he does these beautifully intricate line drawings, and they're amazing. So, getting that out of the way, because it's the most beautiful art I've ever seen. Even, the dedication page is beautiful, the title page is beautiful. Every little detail of this book has just... It looks like he poured his heart into it. It was definitely a labor of love. And, I mean, it's fantastic. So, this is the story of a cursed pirate girl. I'm going to read you the blurb because it describes it most accurately. It says, a journey filled with adventure above and below the mythical waters of the Omerta Seas. A nautical fairy tale of strange creatures, whimsical characters, swashbuckling danger, and the most bizarre pirates you could hope for. Cursed Pirate Girl is certain to amaze and captivate adults and children alike. Yeah, so it's just this amazing story about this girl who goes on an adventure to find her father, who is an alleged pirate, and ends up meeting all sorts of mystical creatures along the way. There's definitely some social commentary in here as well, which I enjoyed. And again, I could just stare at the art forever. This is a beautiful book, and you should buy it. So that is all I have for today for the series of comics that I've started over the last 6 months or so. If you've read any of these or have any questions about any of them, let's talk in the comments. If you have any recommendations for new series I should get into, I am always willing to take those. And I will see you all soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.